When I was a kid, I used to get this feeling in the last week of summer break. I'd think back to the beginning of the summer and to all the things I wanted to do over the break, and then I'd be really disappointed in myself because I realized I hadn't actually done any of them. I have a tendency of falling into a routine and doing the same thing every day, every week, every month, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if I'm happy with that routine, but more often than not, I'll think about all the things I still want to do and get this feeling. It's a feeling of stagnation that makes me wonder if I'm making any progress towards my goals, or what my goals even are to begin with. And even though I know this about myself and it frustrates me, I still have a hard time actually breaking my routine and working towards something new. My routine held strong through 2021 until the night of November 6th, when Arcane's first 3 episodes premiered on Twitch. For the first time in years, I remembered what it's like to be emotionally invested in something new, what it's like to actually have something on your calendar that you're looking forward to. Something that keeps the days and weeks from all blending together. It gave me this feeling of anticipation that I hadn't felt since I was a kid waiting for Christmas to come. Arcane changed my life. As someone who first started playing League over a decade ago, I've been following the game scene and community for a long time. It's a common meme within the community that Riot is a music and animation company that also happens to develop games, so my expectations for Arcane were already pretty high. As I was watching the pre-show before the first episode premiered, Riot showed off some of the Arcane advertisements they had made around the world. They had lit up an entire skyscraper in Dubai, made an Arcane-themed cafe in Korea, painted a subway in Brazil. Riot also did a ton of partnerships for Arcane, including crossovers with Fortnite, PUBG Mobile, Among Us, Reddit, Fenty Beauty products, made Arcane chocolates, Arcane popcorn. Vanderl made a quick 1-minute video that I'll link in the description below that has just even more examples of just the insane amount of marketing that Riot did for this show. After seeing all that, I thought to myself that Riot wouldn't be marketing this hard if they didn't think that they had something really good on their hands. But even so, I told myself to not get too excited and tempered my expectations. I had planned to go to bed after the first episode and catch up on the rest the next day, but I actually ended up staying up until 2 a.m. that night, watching all 3 episodes with Necrit's stream, before immediately going to look for other discussions and reactions. Over the next couple of weeks, I would spend every free moment looking for new reactions, reading theories on future episodes, and gauging reception among League players as well as newcomers to the universe. As the type of person who prefers to wait for reviews and ratings before playing a new game or watching a new show, being on the Arcane train since day 1 was an unforgettable experience. Watching blind reactions and seeing people discover and fall in love with characters in a world that is so familiar to me but so novel to them was just enjoyable. And in just one night, my year-long routine had finally been broken. Arcane is phenomenal all around. Visually, it's pure eye candy. Not just in the art style and animation, but also the cinematography, visual storytelling, and colors. It also has great music, sound design, and voice acting. But that was somewhat to be expected given Riot's track record with cinematics. The real pleasant surprise was the character nuance and narrative writing. I genuinely liked every single character in the show, and they all felt like they had understandable, realistic motivations. Now, I could talk about this show forever, but I feel like my explanations wouldn't be doing it justice, and other content creators have already made tons of great videos exploring the different aspects of the show. I'll quickly mention a few that I thought were particularly insightful and link all those videos down in the description below. I'll also preface this by saying that while I'm trying to keep everything spoiler free in this video, the videos I'm about to mention will have spoilers, so if you haven't watched Arcane yet, I definitely recommend you skip ahead to the next section of the video. For character and character relationship breakdowns, I highly recommend this Therapist React series by Georgia Dow. This video by Loy Meets World breaks down some of the facial micro-expressions in the show and really helped me appreciate the amount of detail Fortiche put into the animation. Schnee has several great videos about the narrative and visual storytelling of Arcane that I thoroughly enjoyed. Coley Does Things has a great video on the Arcane fandom that I thought was funnily accurate, so check that out if you get the chance. Obviously, the actual television series is the core of the Arcane experience, but I also love the community and content around the show. When you're super invested into something, it's exciting to know that others are just as emotionally invested in it too. If you're like me and love watching other people react and get invested in a show you enjoy, a couple of my favorite Arcane reactions are the following. Semblance of Sanity makes awesome, long, invested reactions that also have a great attention to detail. Mac React also has a great attention to detail, and you can definitely tell that they get super invested into the show. Finally, Chocolate Kieran, House of K, and Sakina are also all great reactors that went on to react to other League cinematics and lore after they finished Arcane, which personally I found very entertaining. Again, links to all those reactors will be in the description below. Outside of YouTube, I also like browsing Reddit to see what other viewers have to say. And as Reddit usually is, a lot of people in the Arcane subreddit are down bad. But still, there are definitely some gems to be found. It's really cool to see how the show affected various people, knowing that others are also suffering from post-series depression, or seeing how Victor inspired this chronically ill 18-year-old to get a cane. One of my personal favorite comments was before the release of the last 3 episodes, when someone said that they are feeling nauseous and nervous because they don't know what kind of ending to expect. And I realized that I felt the same because I had been feeling knots in my stomach in anticipation of the last few episodes. There are also a ton of threads about how the show handled diversity and representation in the cast, and that's something that I actually think Riot has done pretty well in recent years at least. I also really love the tons of fan art that people have been making for Arcane, but my personal favorites are definitely those showing aspects of the characters that we weren't able to see in the show, or showing them in an alternate universe. I highly recommend that any fans of the show check those fan arts out. Overall, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Arcane changed my life. I remember when I was a kid, I would be so excited the night before going to an amusement park or getting a new game that I would have trouble falling asleep. As I grew older, I learned to better temper my expectations so I wouldn't get disappointed, but in doing so, I had lost this wild feeling of excitement and giddy nervousness that you get when you're really looking forward to something. The 2 weeks of Arcane's runtime brought back that feeling for me, and when it was over, having a quick Season 2 announcement and tons of community content helped keep me entertained and look forwards toward the future, instead of being stuck in a post-series depression. Arcane helped me relearn how fun it can be to be excited for other things again, and now I have a ton of things I'm looking forward to in 2022 and beyond. Arcane also helped me break a bit of my chronic procrastination as well. I'm generally a lurker. I watch a ton of YouTube videos and content, browse tons of Reddit threads, but I don't really ever post or comment. I've always thought about making YouTube content, but I'd never mustered up the effort to actually do it. But after watching Arcane, I managed to find the motivation and actually make this video because I really wanted to get my own thoughts out. Finally, I also want to add that I've seen a lot of people online saying that Arcane is a masterpiece and that Arcane is the best show of 2021, and even that Arcane is one of the best shows ever, period. While I personally do agree with all of those statements, I also realize that they're very subjective. And I've seen that end up creating situations where, people get disappointed by the show because to them it doesn't live up to the hype that they heard about. And I'm not trying to say that Arcane is going to change your life, or even that you'll like it. But I think that everyone should at least give it 3 episodes before deciding if it's for them or not. Just think of it like a 2-hour movie that you're going to watch before deciding whether to watch the sequel to the movie or not. I think part of the magic of experiencing something like Arcane is that it exceeds the expectations that you have, so my advice for anyone who has yet to see this show is that you should expect it to be good, but maybe it doesn't click with you like it did for others, and that's okay. But if it does click with you, like it did for me and many others, feel free to come gush about the show with us on r/Arcane. If anyone does decide to check the series out because of this video, know that I'm super grateful that you decided to give it a shot. I'll be making more Riot related and more general gaming videos in the near future, so if you're interested in that, you know what to do. If you have any thoughts to share on the show or this video, I'd love to read them in the comments below. But that's it for this video, so thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.